I like it when my games have a lot of heart, whether it's Hades and his redemption arc or the entire cast of Fire Emblem. Three Houses, there's just something special about stories that make you care about the characters and their journeys. And I think the best way to make me care about a character is by making me laugh at how embarrassing they are. In this vein, I've been playing through the wonderful and hilarious Hatsune Miku project, Mega Mix, and watching the anime cells at work. But today, we're going to talk about two characters who both come from the same franchise, but have vastly different portrayals of the concept of being out of touch. Our first embarrassing god is none other than Zeus himself. The problem with being the most powerful member of the pantheon, you can do whatever you want and get away with it. So what does he do? He throws lightning bolts at anyone he doesn't like and hangs around on Olympus doing nothing all day. Oh wait, sorry, never mind. He's busy having an affair with a mortal. Wait, where was I? Oh yeah, in the realm of the gods, we have our second embarrassment, Hera, the goddess of women. She spends her days gossiping with Aphrodite and punishing anyone who has done anything she deems unworthy, usually by sending a swarm of poisonous snakes to kill them. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. They're both incredibly powerful deities with the ability to manipulate reality itself, yet they choose to spend their time on meaningless pursuits. If you do like to support the channel while gaining access to cool perks like behind-the-scenes videos, a server with myself and the community, and even live streams, consider becoming a member. There's also a link to join the wonderful community of supporters down below. So why do these characters annoy me? It's simple. They're not actually trying to be good. You see, unlike Hades, who was ostracized from his family and had to build his own domain from scratch, or Heracles, who has to go on 12 labors because his godly father forgot that he existed, Hera and Zeus have no reason to be bad people. Well, maybe Hera does. She seems to take great pleasure in reminding everyone that she is the only one who can call herself the rightful queen of Olympus, since she is the only one who married Zeus willingly. But Zeus, on the other hand, he's pretty much just an immature child. His whole motivation for having an affair with a mortal woman is that Hera stops nagging him if he does. Also, isn't he supposed to be the king of the gods? Shouldn't he be setting a good example for the rest of the Olympians, or at least trying to fix the problems that plague the human world? Sure, he built the Olympic Games to honor his victory over the Titans, and used it as a way to show off his many talents, but those are pretty narcissistic reasons that don't really help mortals in any meaningful way. In fact, he seems to actively dislike them. I mean, the guy turned a demigod into a bull just because he didn't like how pretty he was. That's why it is so easy for someone like Hades to surpass the accomplishments of someone like Zeus. See, Hades understood his role as a god. He knew that he was responsible for the safety and prosperity of the underworld. He didn't whine about how hard his job was, or use his power to punish those who displease him. He simply accepted his responsibility and worked hard to improve his domain. Hades took his job seriously, which is why he was able to achieve so much more than Zeus ever did. And it is a lesson that Zeus could have learned if he wasn't too busy throwing lightning bolts at poets for insulting him and having affairs with dryads. Of course, Zeus is not the only one who is guilty of not taking their responsibilities seriously. Hera, for example, is another Olympian who is quick to blame others for their mistakes, but refuses to take responsibility for their own. Let's take the time that Heracles was sent to complete the 12 labors as an example. Sure, the task was given to him by King Eurystheus, but let us not forget that it was Hera who demanded that Heracles be given this punishment in the first place. Why, you might ask? Well, simply because Heracles accidentally killed a group of her sacred cows while in a rage. But instead of apologizing for her role in the matter and helping Heracles find a way to atone for his sins, she spent the next 12 years gleefully watching him struggle to complete his labors, only stopping to rub salt in the wound every now and then. The thing is, Hera didn't even have to watch him suffer. She could have easily used her powers to stop his labors, but she didn't. Instead, she chose to sit back and enjoy the show, proving once again that she is not the compassionate and caring goddess of women that she likes to pretend to be. Now, before I get too deep into the weeds of talking about how awful each Olympian is, I think it's important to remember that they're just characters in a story. It's natural for them to have flaws, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. But it is also important to acknowledge that some of these characters are just plain wrong and need to be called out for their behavior. This is especially true when we're dealing with characters who are supposed to be role models for the younger generation, such as Zeus and Hera. As I said before, Zeus is the king of the gods and Hera is the goddess of women. Their actions should be exemplary for those who look up to them. Yet they are often the worst offenders when it comes to breaking the rules and taking advantage of their power. The truth is, Zeus and Hera aren't the only Olympians who are guilty of this behavior. Many of the gods and goddesses of Olympus are more concerned with their own selfish desires than the needs of the people they were supposed to be helping. Take Poseidon, for example. He's the god of the sea and earthquakes, and yet he spends most of his time having affairs with mermaids and dryads and getting into fights with other deities. Or how about Apollo, the god of music and poetry? He's known for being a womanizer and for using his powers to manipulate those around him. Then there's Ares, the god of war, who revels in violence and bloodshed and has no interest in justice or peace. These are just a few examples of the many Olympians who are guilty of not taking their responsibilities seriously enough. They act without thinking about the consequences of their actions, and they refuse to take responsibility for the chaos they create. This lack of accountability is what makes them so dangerous. When you have a group of people who are all powerful and unaccountable, you create a recipe for disaster. But it's not all bad news. There are some Olympians who do try to do good. Athena, for example, is the goddess of wisdom and courage. She's known for her intelligence and her ability to strategize and plan ahead. She's also very fair-minded and impartial, which makes her a good mediator in times of conflict. Then there's Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. She is responsible for providing food for the people of the world, and she takes her job very seriously. She's also a very caring and nurturing deity who is always willing to help those in need. Finally, there's Hephaestus, the god of the forge. He is responsible for creating many of the magical objects that the Olympians use, and he takes great pride in his work. He's also a very skilled craftsman and engineer, which makes him an invaluable member of the pantheon. Ultimately, the behavior of the Olympians is up to the individual author or game developer who chooses to write them. There is no right or wrong way to portray these characters, and there is plenty of room for interpretation. However, it is important to remember that these characters are role models for many people, and their behavior should be exemplary. When we see these characters acting in harmful or irresponsible ways, it sends a bad message to those who look up to them. It is important to hold these characters accountable for their actions and to call out their bad behavior when necessary. So, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment of Zeus and Hera? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.